This is gonna be a 45-minute beginner class. Perfect if you've never done Pilates, perfect if you've done a bunch of Pilates. And I'm definitely gonna provide a lot of modifications along the way too. So go ahead and get started. At the back of your mat, I'm gonna face you just for the first little bit so you can see what I'm doing. We're just gonna start with some deep breaths. So go ahead and arms up overhead, bringing air into your body and exhale at your own pace. So we're going to remember that we're moving our bodies today because we love our bodies, because we're honoring and celebrating our bodies for being able to move. This is not a sense of punishment for your bodies at all. This is celebrating what your bodies can do. Let's go ahead and take it over into some side leans to stretch out those obliques. Again, just breathing however feels comfortable for you. Go ahead and stack your arms kind of in a genie style. We're just going to do some oblique twists. So we're going to twist to one side as you exhale and slowly twist to the other side. Try and keep your hip bones facing forward so that the motion is really coming kind of from that breastbone region. That's going to force the work into the obliques. So you're not going to have as great of a range of motion, but that's okay because it's going to work your obliques a little bit more if you force your hip bones to stay forward. Again, just breathing however feels comfortable for you. So good. If you might also notice that your shoulders are getting a little bit of sneaky work here as you keep them up. We're going to add in a little bit of a challenge. You can keep going here if this is a little bit too much, but we're going to add in a little bit of a leg lift. So you're going to lift your left leg, or however it works for you guys, lift the opposite leg as you twist toward that knee. If you bring your feet in a little bit closer, that's going to make it easier to balance. If you're a little bit farther, that's going to make it harder, okay? Also, if bringing your knee all the way up to a 90-degree angle is a little bit too much, you can also just point your foot out in front of you. Really, the act of moving your foot at all or your knee at all is going to cause your lower abs to get in on the game here. Still trying to keep your hips forward, facing forward. Really just want to ask yourself what level of intensity you're going for. So if you want to bring your knee all the way up today for a little bit more of a challenge, that's great. Or if you just want to point your foot out in front of you, you're also still getting great work in your lower abs. Or you can also just keep going with the regular twist with no legs, and that is also great. Keep breathing, going at your own pace. This is really warming up your entire abdominal wall. It's good to wake up the core first thing in class because we want to keep our core nice and engaged through every move that we're going to do today to keep our whole bodies nice and safe. Just do a couple more. Okay, I'm going to join you up here, the back of my mat. We'll do another big inhale overhead, and we're going to drop our hands all the way down toward the mat. If you can't reach your mat, that's okay. Just go as far as you can and just kind of bend one knee at a time to walk out the back of your legs and get those warming up. Let your head hang heavy. And then we're just going to walk out to a plank position. So your shoulders are right under, or your hands are right under your shoulders. If you want to bring your knees down, you certainly can do that. And then we're just going to pike our hips up and we're going to come back up to that standing position. And just coming up slowly, stacking vertebra by vertebra, hands up overhead, and a big inhale. We're going to do that again. So dive forward toward your mat and slowly walk yourself out to a plank, either on your toes or your knees, and just hold it for a second. Remember to not hold your breath. We're still breathing here. Pike your hips up toward the sky and walk yourself back to standing. Deep inhale at the top. You're going to do that one more time. dive forward to your mat, keeping your core engaged through this whole walk out here. And hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop it down to your belly. And come all the way down to the belly. We're going to go into an extension series. So your spine moves primarily in 4 planes of motion. So we're going to do flexion, lateral flexion, extension, as well as rotation today to really get a balanced work of our spine. So we're going to start with an extension series. So I want you to go ahead and let your chest fall heavy to the ground and just have your arms right beside you with your palms flat on the mat, right underneath your armpits. I want you to have your pubic bone fall heavy down into the mat, which I know sounds weird, but that's going to keep your spine nice and safe. I want you to engage your core. So that's not meaning that your stomach's going to be off the mat, but I want you to imagine if I were to slide like an ice cube underneath your belly, the kind of engagement that your core would react with. Try to keep that engagement. That's going to keep your spine nice and safe. What we're going to do is some arm extensions. So make sure your nose is pointed down toward the mat so the back of your neck is nice and long. What we're going to do is lift up our palms using the strength between our shoulder blades. So retract your shoulder blades together like you're squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades as you lift your palms up and extend them overhead, and then bring them back, and then you can rest your palms down on the ground. Then we're going to lift up, lift the palms, retract your shoulder blades, extend them overhead, and then pull them back down. You'll feel that in your lats, and rest your palms down. If this is a little bit too much, you can just keep going with that motion at your own pace. If this is a little bit too much, you can also just do one arm at a time. That'll make it a little more doable, but you're still going to get an awesome burn in your shoulders. I even feel this like in the back of my oblique muscles, in my abs. This is like a full back exercise here. Back and shoulders. Really good for your upper back, really good for your posture muscles. Keep going at your own pace. And if the arm extension with both arms or even just one is a little bit too much, even just the act of lifting up your palms up off the ground and retracting your shoulder blades is a great exercise. So wherever you're at today is great. It's all movement. Keeping that core engaged. You can also recruit your butt muscles to help you with this. All right, go ahead and finish whatever rep you're on. You can either keep your palms where they're at underneath your armpits. For the next move, we're going to do a yoga pose called Cobra, kind of combined with like a little tricep push-up. So if you want it to be a little easier, you're going to slide your hands forward. If you want it to be harder, you're going to keep them more by your armpits. So I'll let you kind of decide whatever you want to do. We are going to peel our upper body off the mat, starting with our chest. So you're going to push away using the strength of your triceps and extend so that your back is arched. And at the last minute, you're going to extend your head up toward the sky. And then we'll reverse that motion. So start with your belly coming down on the ground, then your rib cage, then your chest, then the nose goes toward the mat. We'll repeat that. So again, if you need to slide your hands out to make it easier or in, wherever you're at. Let's go ahead and peel up again, starting with the chest, keeping your chin tucked here until we get to the end. And look up to the sky. Gives you a really nice stretch. Come on back down. You might really feel this in your triceps as well. And keep going at your own pace. Breathing however feels natural to you. The slower you go, the more challenging this is going to be. You also don't have to extend up as far as I'm going. Just stop wherever it feels good for your body. We'll just do a couple more of these. And last one. And we'll push back into child's pose. So go ahead and widen your knees kind of toward the width of your mat and just push your butt back to sit on your feet. Stretch your arms forward. I want you to just kind of envision energy coming out from the crown of your head, out your tailbone, so that you're stretching your spine nice and long. Gaze toward the mat. Just a couple deep breaths here to release all that work we just did in the back. All right, nice job. So we're going to come into a flexion ab series, so we can come onto our backs with our knees bent. So because we're switching positions here, we're just going to go through really quick head to toe alignment. If you need, however you want to face me, if you're not able to see me very easily, you can switch your mats around if this is a little too hard, because your head is going to be on the mat. But so go ahead and bend your knees. We are going to be in neutral spine for this exercise. So if you take your fingertips and place them on your pubic bone, and then go ahead and push your pubic bone back toward your feet a little bit, and that'll cause your hip bones and your pubic bone to be on what we call neutral spine, on a totally flat tabletop like flatness right in that triangular region of your lower stomach. So imagine if I were to put a tray of marbles on that lower section of your stomach, then none of the marbles would move. They'd be flat on the tray, they'd be steady and still. So I'll reference that kind of visualization through class today to kind of remind you to keep your spine in neutral. When we're in neutral spine, you are going to have a little bit of a gap between your back and the mat, and that's good. So don't worry if you're thinking that your back needs to be pressed into the mat. It's actually good for there to be a little bit of a gap there. So we're going to start with something called neutral series. And we're going to be really engaging the transversus abdominis, which is the deepest layer of the 6 layers of our core. So a good way to find your transversus abdominis is if you take your fingertips and squish them into your lower stomach and cough a couple times, and you feel how your core kind of engages there. You want to hang on to that catch, that little engagement of the core. So if you cough again and you feel that engagement, try to hang on to that. That's your transversus abdominis. So we're going to go into our neutral series. I want you to lift your right leg to tabletop and then just set it back down. Left leg up to tabletop and set it back down. We're moving nice and slow here. There's 3 levels of the neutral series, and we're going to try out all of them today. If any of them don't feel good to you, you can certainly go back to the previous level that did feel good to you. Even though this is our legs in motion here, I want you to think of this more as an ab exercise. So instead of using the strength of your legs to come up to tabletop, you're really thinking of your core being the main mover that is bringing your leg up to that tabletop position. Breathing however feels natural for you. Good. Next time you get your right leg up to tabletop, we're going to bring the left leg up to join it. So both of your legs will be in tabletop using, again, the strength of your core. Right leg down, left leg down. Going to start with the left leg this time. Left leg up to tabletop, right leg comes to meet it. Your abs are on super strong. Left leg down, right leg down. So keep going with that at your own pace. Remember that tray of marbles on your lower stomach. Are we in neutral spine? Is the tray of marbles completely still and steady on the flat horizontal plane of our lower stomach? Going to protect our lumbar spine, the lower region of our spine, as we move through all of these exercises. Your core is on nice and strong, and you're breathing however feels good. Next time you have both of your legs in tabletop, we're going to try level 3. This one is pretty challenging, so if this doesn't feel good to you, you can certainly just keep going with level 2. You're going to send your right leg out long into diagonal while your left leg stays bent, and then bring it back in. Send the left leg out long and bring it back in. This is recruiting a ton of ab strength, and it is not easy at all. This one's pretty hard for me too. So if you'd rather just stay at level 2, certainly do that. If you want to try level 3 but make it a little bit easier, you don't have to drop your leg as far, so you can just have it pointed up a little bit more toward the sky. that's great too. Still going to get a ton of ab work regardless of whatever level of the neutral series you settle on today. Nice deep breaths. Don't hold your breath. This one's easy to kind of try and get to the motion by holding your breath, but we don't want to do that. Keep breathing. All right. Last one, go ahead and pull your knees into your chest and let your lower back sink into the floor for a little bit of a break here. You can sway your knees side to side, kind of give your lower back a bit of a massage. Nice deep breaths. So good. Okay, go ahead and put your feet back on the ground. We're going to do something called an ab prep. You can kind of think of this as like the beginning portion of what you would do with an ab crunch, but we're not going to go up all the way. So I want you to straighten your arms out in front of you and lift them a little bit up off the mat, and imagine shooting energy out toward the opposite side of our proverbial room here. And then lift your head and your shoulders using the strength of your abs. And we're going to stop and hinge at that breastbone region, and then just come back down. Again, don't hold your breath and don't let your lower back sink down into the mat. Come up again into ab prep. So we still have that gap between the mat and the back. That's really going to force the work into your lower stomach. Remember our tray of marbles. Come up into the ab prep. Is nice and still so you're in neutral spine, and come back down. I also want you to think about, just keep going with your ab prep or your own pace here. I also want you to think about keeping your upper spine safe, and the way that we do this is by imagining that you have just a small orange tucked in between your chin and your chest, so that your chin's not tucked too far into your chest and it's not jutting out toward the sky either. That's going to make sure that the back of our neck is nice and long, and our cervical spine, our upper spine, is protected in this motion. You're going to feel this really along your whole abdominal wall. And again, just stopping at that breastbone region. Imagine that you're hinging right up to that mid spine. So you'll go as far as you can without leaving the mat between, or excuse me, the gap between the mat and your back. You want to maintain that through your whole move here. Don't hold your breath at the top. We're still breathing. It might help to exhale on the exertion. So as you're coming up, and then inhale as you come down, nice and controlled, slow movements. Again, the slower we move, the more intense it's going to make the exercise. That deep transversus abdominis is really working for us. Okay, next time you're up in ab prep, we're gonna combine our neutral series that we just did with our ab prep level 2. So we're gonna lift the right leg up to tabletop while you're in ab prep, and then lift the left leg, right leg down, left leg down, and rest your head on your mat. If you want to, you can keep your head resting down on the mat if that's a little bit too much for you. Up to you. Come up to ab prep, left leg up to tabletop, right leg up to tabletop, left leg down, right leg down, and rest your head. Just keep going at your own pace here, whatever feels good to you. Again, if it's too much, you can always just continue with regular ab prep without the level 2 neutral series, or you can rest your head and just do level 2 of neutral series. It's all movement. It just depends on what level of intensity you're shooting for today. Let's do one more. Good, and then pull your knees into your chest again for a little break. Press your low back into the mat and sway your knees back and forth. Nice deep breaths. All right, one more move in our ab series. We're going to do a crisscross, and I'll give you a couple different ways to do this depending on how you're feeling in your body today. So we're going to come back into ab prep again, except instead of having our arms extended, we're going to bring our arms behind our head, elbows nice and wide. You can either do crisscross in this position and just lift your knees. This is still fantastic ab work. Or if you'd like to, you can lift them up to tabletop and just extend one leg at a time. That's going to be the harder option. So go ahead and choose whatever option you'd like to do. I want you to keep your elbows nice and wide. Instead of picturing trying to get your elbow as close to your knee as you can, I want you to picture your armpit reaching toward your knee. So that's going to help you keep your elbows nice and wide, and it'll force you to kind of move through more toward your upper body. And it's going to create a little bit more of a burn in your abs. It'll force a little more work into that lower body, or excuse me, lower abs. Nice and slow. This is not easy. So you are doing super, super good. Hopefully you feel the burn in your abs. Just do a couple more, even out on whatever side you started on. And then again, just bring your knees down into your chest, lower back down into the mat. Go ahead and send your arms out long to the side of you so you're in a T shape, and let your knees drop to the right side, just stacked on top of each other for a nice waist stretch. Just glance toward your left hand. Try to keep your left shoulder blade on the mat as much as you can, so it'll really stretch out those obliques and those abs that we were working. Nice deep breaths. All right, bring your knees back to the center and let them drop to the opposite side. To the left, and glance to that right hand, right shoulder blade on the mat. Awesome job. Okay, we're going to go into a bridge series now. So go ahead and bring your knees back to where they were. We're going to start with just regular full bridges. So go ahead and press the palms of your hands down into the ground. We're going to remember that orange between our chin and our chest. It's really easy to want to tuck your chin and kind of glance down toward your knees in this move, but I still want you to have your gaze up toward the sky, your neck nice and safe. We're just going to lift our hips up into a bridge. Let's talk about this for a minute. I don't want to see your hips up so high that you're up on your shoulder blades. That's too much of an extension. So we're going to stop right around the breastbone region again. So picture there being just a completely flat plane between your knees, your hip bones, and up to your rib cage. That's where we're going to stop. You can go ahead and lower back down. So if you find that your back is arching too much, we want to avoid that. Bring hips back up toward the sky. All this power is coming from your glutes. So we're really recruiting our butt muscles. You're going to feel this in your hamstrings as well. Just continue at your own pace up to the top. And when we bring it down, you'll completely rest your butt down on the ground. Flex your booty to bring your hips up and back down. Moving nice and slow. Continue your breathing. Try to put all of the weight into your heels, into the heels of your feet. Okay, next time you get up to the top, we're going to lower about until your butt is hovering on the mat, and then lift back up. So you're not resting down this time. You're going to come almost all the way down to your mat and then push it back up. So we're really exhausting those glute muscles. If you find that you are having a hard time keeping proper form in this move, I would encourage you to just come all the way back down onto your mat and rest for just a second, and then let your body reset and start the move again. Sometimes when the main movers of an exercise, which in this case is our glutes, when they get tired, they try to kind of recruit our lower back muscles or muscles that we don't want to be working in this move. So if you find that to be happening, that you're feeling this in your lower back, just come down and give it a rest for a second. Okay, next time we're up, we're gonna hold it up and we're just gonna pulse about an inch up and down. So your hips are just pulsing up toward the sky. Promise I'm gonna give you a little break after this. If this is a little bit too much, you can certainly rest whenever you need to, or just go back to those full up and down bridges. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down and bring your knees into your chest. Stretch out those glutes. We are effectively working every muscle in your body. Very nice. Okay, go ahead and bring your feet back to that position that we were just in, and then scoot your feet just maybe an inch or so closer to your butt. What we're gonna do is come up into our shoulder bridge again, and then we're gonna go up on our tippy toes. So we're gonna do some calf raises in this position and bring them back down. Up to your toes, bring it back down. You're gonna feel this move the burn into your hamstrings a little bit more. So we are flexing through our glutes super hard here. Your core is still on, and your hamstrings are definitely working here. If this is too much, just do one leg at a time. Or if even that's too much, even just holding in a static bridge is going to give you a fantastic burn. Again, it's all movement. So we're just choosing our intensity level. Moving the heels up and down. Now, similar to what we just did when our heels were on the ground, we're going to leave our heels up and we're going to go halfway down toward the mat, hover, and then come back up without resting. This is really making my booty work. She's burning. Again, if this is a little bit too intense, drop your heels down to the ground, or you can rest at the bottom of the movement. Okay, let's do 2 more. 1 more, hold at the top, don't hate me, we're just gonna pulse it. Hips up to the sky. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. Very, very good. Did we feel that? All right, knees to the chest, stretch that out. Good. Go ahead and send your left leg long while you still hang on to the knee of your right leg, and just pull your right leg in a little bit more. That's going to isolate your right glute. Nice deep breaths as we stretch. As we do these stretches, I want you to still maintain that gap between the mat and your back that we were talking about during our abs series. That's going to keep your back safe as we stretch out your muscles. Go ahead and lengthen your right leg. I'm not as flexible in my hamstrings, so I'm going to hold the back of my leg right around my hamstrings. If you're really flexible, you might be able to grab at your calf, but in order for me to have a gap between my mat and the back, I am just going to grab the back of my hamstrings, and we're going to flex the foot back towards you and then point toward the sky. Flex and point. This is a dynamic hamstring stretch. Gets all the way down deep into your hamstrings, even into the bottom of your foot. This is a really good stretch. All right, let's switch legs. So go ahead and grab your left knee and bring it in as you extend your right leg long, and pull that left knee in to isolate that left glute. Nice deep breaths. And extend that leg long toward the sky, grabbing behind your hamstring or your calf, and flex and point your foot. Nice job. Okay. All right, go ahead and bring it down. We are going to come into a side lying series now. So come on to your right side, and we're going to let your head rest in your right hand. We're going to start with clamshells. So I want you to bend your knees and stack them on top of each other and bring them into about a 45-degree angle between your stomach and your legs here. And option, you can either have your feet up. This is going to make it a little bit harder, or you can rest your feet down on the ground. I want you to glue your heels and your toes together as we lift our knees, separate our knees, and then bring them back. But we want to, the hard part is keeping really kind of your heels together. So you're really going to feel your inner thighs start to work in this position. Again, you can have your feet up or you can have them down on the mat. Doesn't matter. Again, it's just what level of intensity you're going for today. You can have your hand in front of you to help stabilize you. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can lift your arm up in the air. That's going to take away all your stability. So your abs are going to have to work a little bit more in that position. Okay, we're going to do 5 more, and I'm going to give you a challenge if you're up for it, if you're feeling spicy. When you open up into clamshell, extend that left leg long, and then bring it back and close the clamshell. Open, extend the leg long, bring it back down, and close the clamshell. Up to you, just a couple more. The extra spicy option. 1 more. Nice. Okay, bring it down. Very good. Go ahead and extend that bottom leg long so your right leg is nice and long. Bring your left ankle in front of you and just kind of point the toe. You can keep your hand on your ankle, on your knee, in front of you, in the sky, whatever you're up for today. We're just going to lift, point that bottom foot, lift it up about an inch or two, and do some circles. Either direction doesn't matter because we're going to reverse it. Nice and slow, pointed toes. Imagine if you dipped your toe in some paint and you're just painting a little circle on a canvas down there. Really feel that inner thigh burning. Go ahead and reverse the motion. So whatever direction you were going in, go the opposite direction. The more you recruit your abs here, it'll help you stay balanced in this position. Okay, and then we're going to hold it in the middle and just pulse it up, up, up. Whew, really burning those inner thighs. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and prop up on your elbow now. We're going to move that front foot behind your hamstring. I don't want you to be completely slouching in your upper body. Make sure you're nice and strong. Your elbow is underneath your shoulder. We're going to, you can actually just set your foot flat behind your leg here. Lift your foot again. We're going to flex the foot. Go out to the diagonal, little baby lift, and then back to the middle. Out to the diagonal, little lift. Nice and strong abs here. This will help you lift that leg. If bringing it out to the diagonal is a little bit too much, you can just hold it right here and do your pulses. Whatever works for you. This is your workout today. Good. Do 2 more. Hold it out to the diagonal and just do little pulses with a flexed foot. Good. 3, 2, 1. All right, nice job. Okay, we're gonna switch sides. So you'll come down onto your left side to work that other thigh. I promise we're gonna stretch it out nice and good right after this one. So head resting in your hand. 45-degree angle with your knees stacked. We're gonna do those clamshells first. So glue your heels together, glue your toes together. You can lift them up off the mat or have them down on the mat. Open up your knees and close. Open and close. You might not get a very big range of motion with this move, but that's okay because range of motion isn't really the goal. We're just trying to get into those inner thighs in a nice, safe way. You're doing so good. We have exhausted almost the entire body today. All right, for the last 5, we're gonna do that spicy option of extending the top leg. So you're gonna open your clamshell, extend your leg, glue your toes back together, and close. Open, extend, and close. Nice and strong. You're doing so good. Not easy. Beginner does not mean that it's easy. Okay, one more. Nice. Okay, bring it down. You can kind of tap out that booty. She's working for you today. Okay, keep your head in your hand. You'll extend your bottom leg nice and long. Bend your top leg and place your foot in front of your thigh. Really, this depends on your flexibility too. So if it's more comfortable to have your foot down by your knee, whatever works for you, it's the bottom leg we're focusing on. So point your bottom foot, lift it, and we're just gonna do circles forward. Abs are on, inner thighs are working. Okay, now reverse the circle, whatever direction you were going in. All right, now we're gonna hold it in the middle and just pulse it up. Three, two, one. Nice. Bring it down. Gonna prop up on your elbow and move that front foot behind your thigh. Again, nice and strong and structured in your upper body. We're gonna flex that bottom foot, bring it out to the diagonal, little lift, and back to the middle. Moving at your own pace. Again, it's really helpful to really engage your abs in this position. Breathing however feels good for you. All right, let's hold it out to the diagonal and just do little pulses with the flexed foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Effective inner thigh series. Okay, let's come sit on our butts and we're just gonna stretch out our inner thighs. So depending on your flexibility, we're just gonna do a split stretch here. So this might mean your legs are a little bit closer, might mean they're super wide. I have pretty tight hamstrings, so I'm just gonna go about in the middle here. I want you to keep a nice tall spine and then lean forward, trying to keep your spine, your back as flat as possible. It might feel like you're getting more work if you're able to reach as far as you can, but it's a little more effective and safer for your spine if you keep it straight and then just go as far as you're able to with a straight spine. You can flex your feet and you'll feel it a little bit more through your inner thighs. Nice deep breaths. Good, let's go ahead and bend one of your legs and just put your foot by your inner thigh. We're gonna just isolate this leg here. So go ahead and reach over your head, stretch out that thigh. All right, switch sides. Other leg long and bend over that leg. Okay, we just have a couple minutes left of class. We're gonna end my favorite way to end the class, which is with a weightless arm series. So go ahead and just sit on your feet, or you can sit cross-legged, whatever feels good for you. This is such a good way to burn your arms out really at the end of any exercise, and you don't need any equipment. So go ahead and send your arms out long. I want you to engage all the muscles of your arms and flex your hands so that your fingers are up toward the sky. We're just going to do little circles forward. If you want this to be a little easier, you can always bring your hands down lower. We're going to try and keep our upper bodies as still as possible so we're not swaying with our circles. Nice and strong, so keep your abs on. That'll help you stay nice and still. Let's reverse the circle. Nice deep breaths. Good. You're going to do an overhead press here. So with the hands still flexed, come overhead and let your fingertips touch. Back down. Overhead. Nice and slow. You're going to really start to feel those shoulders burn. Okay, we'll beat it at the top. So 1, 2, down. 1, 2, down. At your own pace. Good. Okay, you can bring them down for just a second. Shake them out for a moment. Massage those deltoids. We'll do one more little push and then we'll be done. So arms in a goal post form here, 90 degrees. We're just going to push your arms forward and back, forward and back. Again, make sure that your upper body is nice and still so you're not overextending your chest or your back, keeping it completely still. So this is going to force your shoulders to do all the work for you. Good. Okay, let's hold them in a goal post, and we're going to make a little rainbow shape with our elbows. So you're going to pretend like you're jumping over a little mark here. You're drawing little rainbows with your elbows. This is really good for your shoulder girdle. All right, last push. These are called prayer pulses. I want you to glue your elbows together, glue your forearms together, glue your hands together. We're at a 90-degree angle here, and we're just going to pulse up and up. Glue your forearms together, super hard. Squeeze your palms together, squeeze your elbows together. If you don't feel this one as much, try to lift a little bit higher so you're not down here. You're right here in front of your face. I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, I know. I swear that one never gets easier. It always gives you such a good burn. So just get that blood flowing through your arms again, shake them out. Okay, we're just gonna stretch out your arms now. So if you send them long again, we're gonna flex your fingers back behind you. And if you look toward either hand, doesn't matter, you'll feel that stretch go down into your neck, down into the fingertips of the opposite hand, and just stretch it backwards. Stretch as far as you feel comfortable. Move nice and slow in these neck stretches. And then back to center, and we'll look toward the other side. Nice and slow. Go ahead and set your either hand on your head and just let it pull your head to one side as you reach out the opposite fingertips on the mat. Stretch out your neck. And then if you move your gaze kind of down towards your armpit, you'll feel that stretch move into the back of your neck. You're not pulling, being really gentle with the neck. Other side. So just face forward for a second. Nice deep breaths. And move the gaze towards your armpit. All right, we're going to stretch out our hip flexors. So if you go ahead and get in like a proposal position with a 90-degree angle in your left foot, and then just slide your foot forward about an inch or two, we're going to do a pelvic tilt here. So move your pubic bone toward ahead of you. So if I were in like a reverse pelvic tilt, it would be like my back is nice and arched, but we're going to do the opposite motion, which is going to move the stretch into your hip flexor and then just micro lean forward. Flex that right butt cheek, and you're gonna feel your hip flexor open up a little bit more. Nice deep breaths. You breathe into that stretch. All right, switch sides. Proposal position, and then slide your foot out a little bit. Pelvic tilt and slight lean. Flex that butt cheek of the same leg we're stretching. All right, the end of our class today. Great job. Yay, effective burn.